everything in moderation. And I just think that whatever really works for you. And I'm going to take you guys' advice about just listening to your body and taking time. And I think it's easier to listen to your body when you clean it out and when you introduce something like, okay, that didn't work. That made me feel weird. Now you know exactly what it is. So definitely I'm doing that now. And as I continuing to eat clean, I'm like, okay, no, that's not working. And usually I would do cheese. Now I can't, my body can hardly tolerate cheese anymore. And it does a lot to my body. After it's clean and I introduce it back in, it's like, okay.
It's probably in your blood type. You might not supposed to be eating it.
Probably, but I love cheese. But
that was a joke, but
but you're probably right. You're probably right. So yeah, I've learned a lot.
I have definitely learned a lot. That cheese, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to give up. It's certain things that I just
don't get me wrong. I still eat small amounts of pork, and the only reason why I eat small amounts of pork because when I do go to my grandmother's house, she's already done put it in the fat or some of the green beans or something.
Anyway,
and what I realize, and also when you, Lord forbid, if you got to go to funerals or different type of settings, you just feel like it's inappropriate, to not eat. So you want to at least. So what I do is I just eat a little bit so I don't get sick. Because I remember when I was totally pork free, and I was like, oh, it used to hurt my stomach so bad because I know I was like, dang, they had pork in that. Somebody had something else in there, and I know it. But no, I didn't see the actual meat or whatever. But I'm saying in those green beans and those greens, whatever they use, it was some pork in there. So that's why I always take a little piece from time to time, just so I don't avoid being sick. Is all I do it for. Do I eat it like that? No, I don't eat it.
What advice would you give somebody who they want to work out, but they may not necessarly know where to start, and they may not.
Mike Ford's
well, no, wait a minute. Let me finish. I get that, but the average person who I'm gonna say average person, but that person who may not be able to afford a personal trainer, and there's just some people who just say, I don't need to work out,
but they think they can just work their way up to it,
right? But what I'm really big on right now is really your health is your wealth. Like if you're if you're not healthy, mentally, physically, and spiritually, then you're poor. There's you're seeing people who are having heart attacks at a young age, and diabetes at a young. And I know some of it's genetic strokes, but a lot of it is what we're putting in our bodies, how we're taking care of our bodies. We're not being physically fit. So for that person who just doesn't know how to get started or feel like they may not have the finances to get started.
Right. So I'm going to go back to train with Mike Ford, personal training.
Okay.
Because Tiffany, Joyce, the reason why I say that is because you're getting help from someone else. Regardless. It wouldn't even matter if you can't afford a trainer. But at least I can still write you out something. It don't hurt me to do that. Right. Everybody can afford that. Okay. I mean, I've never been a person where I felt like I'm going to make you pay me to just help you say something nice or help guide whatever your program is. So I still will give free knowledge of something to help you. I'm not charging you for that, So, no, again, get help from somebody who do this every day. Yeah. This is what they do. It'd be just like if I went to a mechanic. He works on an engine. That's why I'm here. I'm asking you these questions. I'm not about to go home and try to get a book or Google and try to just keep making these pieces work because it's frustrating. So that way you can just cut through all of that textbook, what actually really works. This is that. Okay, cool. Now you can just put it together. And I don't feel like we would be here if we didn't know what we were doing. Right. And we hadn't been doing it for years through trial and error. And that's what I always tell young trainers when they say they want to get certified. How about you work with somebody that's in the gym that really done been there? Because that experience is going to take you a whole lot further than what that textbook is going to give you. Yeah, they'll certify you. But when somebody's in a problem or something's happening in the gym, I know what that is. Hold on, watch out, scoot over. I did that a million years. So I know what I'm doing there. I'm at home in here. You see what I mean? So that's why I say get with somebody that really like how Joyce probably is. I mean, I don't know probably, but I know she is in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? Get with somebody that already know. Hold on, baby, don't leave that pot right there. I know I got that cooking. I know what's going to go on with that. You see what I'm saying? I'm already 2 steps ahead of you. You see what I mean? So that experience is no reason to lose that experience by just not asking a question. Okay. So that's why I would say go and ask a question. That's why we got all these social media platforms. Text us, get in touch with us. It's nothing for us to just say, here, give me a time and available day. And hey, I'll meet with you, whatever it may be, and that's it. Even if you don't become my client, it doesn't matter. I still helped you.
I got a follow-up question. Sorry.
Okay.
I know we got to wrap up. So I saw this video yesterday of a little girl. I think she had to be about maybe 10 years old. And I think her mom kind of journaled her weight loss journey. So she started out at like 96 pounds and she got down to like 69. Right. And so we always think about weight loss from an adult perspective of, of adults trying to lose weight, but childhood obesity is on the rise. And it's sad because our babies are struggling when they really shouldn't be struggling. And so watching that video, it had me all over the place emotionally because I'm like, oh my God, I can imagine. It was inspiring, but then I could also see how her struggle, because I think she said something like she just wanted to be normal and just, she's a little black girl, real cute little black girl. And I could just imagine like how she would get teased when she was, right. And I've had little cousins that were overweight. So just how they get teased when they're babies. And so what do you guys think about childhood obesity and training children?
Well, number one, we always got to look at it for what it really is. They can't cook. At the point, however you want to twist and turn it and genetically this and that, the kid cannot cook. The kid cannot drive the car. The kid can't go in the store and get the food out. At the end of the day, this is an adult that's doing this to this baby. Now, I have a family member, and this baby, she's a beautiful little chocolate little girl. But she will pop those Hawaiian little dinner rolls like Pringles. And I mean, for real.
Hawaiian rolls inspired.
I did not say they wasn't good. I didn't say they wasn't good. Right. But for a baby, it's about this tall, no bigger than this. And she will pop them little dinner rolls like they are chips. So what I'm saying,
it's not funny.
And I'm using that example as a say. You talking about yeast? You talking about when it mixes with this water,
the preservative,
this sugar? You looking at it? It is blowing up on this baby. You are basically giving her like an air pump to this weight gain. You're giving her. You just putting all of the air that you could possibly blow her body up to do. Who showed her them dinner rolls? Who keeps buying them dinner rolls? Why does she got 2 rolls up there on the shelf? Because she has not even worked. She ain't worked one day in her life. You see what I mean? So that's why we always got to go back to who is the person that's providing this source. And then at the end of the day, her taste buds will change. If you give her certain meals and wing her on into now she's asking for this versus that. And if you're not going to give her an option, you're not giving her a new healthy meal plan, a choice to pick from. So no, you are the person that's aiding this person. You're enabling this person. But
it goes deep though because it's generational.
Oh, absolutely.
It's social economical because a while ago, even I was watching the Lucy Chen who does her specials on, and I think it was like a 13-year-old girl, and her whole family was was obese. But it was the choices when you think about from a social economical standpoint. We're gonna take it there. Those who receive government assistance, they're limited on things.
Wait, let me finish.
But let me finish. I'm just saying, in some areas when you're looking at from a social economical standpoint, the grocery stores that are in their areas and what's stocked in those stores. Like when you go to when they used to have Double 8 right here, when you would go to a Double 8 versus going to a grocery store in a more affluent area, there's different. There was different product. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's almost like they set you up.
Because it's
they
not
set us up to fail. So
what actually happens with that? Cassandra, I'm sorry. What actually happens with that? Because I do train children. Hence why I train children, because I began to notice these kids dying of heat exhaustion. I can remember when I was in high school, nobody died of heat exhaustion. We would be outside till the sun go down the whole time in 110 degree weather, and we never died.
Right.
And I'm, although it sounds, but I've never heard of so many children dying from things like that or heart conditions. And they're putting these children who are out of shape in sports that requires them to eat properly so that they have the right energy for these sports, such as football, basketball, and things of those natures. They don't teach nutrition in high school. I don't ever remember that. They don't teach it. They don't tell you to eat properly. But to add to that, the economical part, the thing about it is when you're in a store, and again, they have limited resources. They may be receiving assistance. They're going to spend $1 for them snacks,
right,
versus $3 for a bag of carrots. Because economically, this is what I can afford. And if I can only pay $1 for this, that'll hold you over. Then you're also dealing in an economy of latchkey kids. So they're not being monitored when they get home from school because their parents may not come home for another 3 hours.
Right.
So if they're there, like someone told me not too long ago that they bought a 24-pack of ice cream sandwiches and within 2 days they were gone. Because that's what they had available when they come home. So it's multiple of things.
It's
that,
whoever's the adult.
Yeah, and it's
the
multiple.
Supervision
it's
at the end of the
things.
day. It's whoever's supervising these kids. Because, like I said, they don't have a job. They don't even have a car. And you keep saying how you keep getting this stuff. And at the end of the day, out of that whole store, it's something healthy in that store. Yeah.
I never said that.
It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter if this is an economic store. It's a 7-Eleven or whatever. Guess they got something healthy.
But be a single mama though. Be a single mama though.
Well, I've never been a mom.
Exactly.
Right. But I've been a dad.
But there is a mom that puts herself in that choice.
Fed them.
But I think what Tiffany is saying is when you have that single mom who's on that budget, it's just like she'll go run to McDonald's and get something off the dollar menu because it's cheaper to feed her family that way versus going to the grocery store and spending, $4 or $5 for a bag of carrots or apple, whatever it is. It's just cheaper to make sense of this is what I can afford to feed my family. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right.
How about we do an educational thing like that and say, hey, look, we got $5. This is a $5 meal. Miss Joyce, make us a $5 meal that's going to make a big pot of food and it's going to really stretch. Guess what? It's actually tasty. Like you said, it's got a lot of flavor. And guess what? Now we have $5 to go get this pizza or whatever that you was going to get, a frozen pizza, however you wanted to do it. We're going to just stretch that same dollar. And then guess what? We actually fed everybody.
And it is, and it also.
Now, I'm just saying, I know that because that's how Grandma fed everybody.
And it also
they made that
matters
pot stretch.
that you're resourceful. So before you go to the store, you have to know what's available, what's for sale. Kroger has 10 for 10 every week on something.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's definitely important to be resourceful as well. Instead of just going,
tunnel
creating
vision,
a list. Yeah, you creating a list. Yeah, tunnel vision, and you're only getting what's on the list versus actually looking and saying, okay, well, this week, why don't I try these things instead of these things, the Debbie cakes.
And that's where the meal prepping comes into play, because if you're getting off work at 5 o'clock and you're driving through the traffic and you get home at 5:45, you don't want to sit down and cook a full meal anyway.
Right.
So the meal prepping on the weekends is so important, even for the family, not just for weight loss, just for the family. I never did have a healthy meal for me and something different for my son. We ate the same thing. And kids learn, like you said, what they know.
They do what we
do.
do.
And he eats vegetables and fruit to this day because he didn't, that was what he was offered.
Yeah. So how do you break that pattern? Because I didn't grow up. That's probably why I don't like fruits and vegetables now, because I didn't grow up eating fruits and vegetables. So
over my house, don't worry.
how do you help a child understand that eating? Because you'll put a vegetable on a child's plate and they'll be like, I don't want that. They'll say, we couldn't get up until we ate our food. But how do you instill that into children, that the importance of the food selections that they're eating now? How do you educate the mom or the dad, renew their mind of hey, what you're feeding your child is potentially killing them down the line.
Well,
that's my question.
The parent has to be open to that discussion. If they're
better.
not, then that's a brick wall. But they have to be open to that discussion. If that's something they do not want to change, then that's